Hello and welcome back to Inquisitor Martyr. Last time what did we do? Fought Black Legion, and we did something before that. It just kind of was a blur. I just remember smacking guys. Oh yeah, we found that one priest guy who's hiding, like, in the station still. And now we get to go further into Uther's tomb to get his rosette.
Inquisitor, you have returned to the sepulchre. You are truly blessed with zeal and courage.
I have no choice but to recover that relic before catastrophe strikes.
You are running out of time. I will pray for you, Inquisitor.
God, those flame pillars do a lot of work. But I've seen a lot of people talking about this. Have you seen this new Halo show? Oh my god. I have to agree with people. We have not had a good Halo piece of media outside of games since Halo Legends, which admittedly was the most baller thing they've made outside of the games. But oh man, I don't even know where to start. Like, Master Chief is like the main character, but also not. Trying to humanize him, the fact that have him take his helmet off, which was just, I can guarantee it was just because it was in the actor's contract, just like they did with The Mandalorian. You know, these contracts being like, oh, I need to take my helmet off so people know it's me. It ruins the character. Part of Master Chief is the fact you don't really need to see his head. You don't need to see him. It's irrelevant to the story. But they got the writing for this show so bad. The fact, like people pointed out, the fact there's a 2001 Chevy Tahoe in 2552, I did not know Chevy made vehicles that last 500 years. And then the fact you have these insurrectionist guys who I don't even think they're insurrectionists, having like AKs full on. I don't even know if they're proper AKs or if they're someone on IMFDB probably can tell me exactly what they are. They're probably like a CZ like 78 or whatever they are, the ones that are Czech? I think they're Czech. Ah, they moved the rosette.
So, this is the tomb of Uther.
We have never seen the body.
Even in his death, Uther.
You must leave, Inquisitor.
What will happen to you?
I will begin.
May the...
Oh wow, that was fast. I guess that's supposed to be a boss fight and I just shot him with fireballs. Nah, I'm not even gonna bother looting all this. Quick slap that skill point in. You know, let's put it in. I'll eventually use warp heat on or warp damage on somebody. And then I think I saw... Wow, that just kind of... like, it's not bad, but it kind of sucks. Whatever.
Inquisitor, we have returned to...
Inquisitor.
Let's go, more Nurgle boys.
It is a call for help initiated by the machine spirit. The message asserts
My homeboy's coming straight out of the Rotwang sector.
sequential shutdown in progress.
Straight out of Rotwang. But back to Halo. They also have a human, like, leading the Covenant, which is this stupid... I mean, the showrunners even said, like, hey, we didn't play the games, we didn't touch them, we looked at some of the books, and then we felt like we were kind of free to do what we want. And I'm like, that's not how any of this shit works. You don't get to just not read source material. I don't know who like decided this is the new way of doing things, just ignoring source material, but they really need to stop. But it's so stupid having a human run the Covenant, because like humans were essentially deigned to be exterminated by the prophets. The Seshayan, I think their name, or like their species is, I can't remember. It's got an apostrophe, it screws me up. But like the prophet of regret and all that. But they did that because they found out that humanity were the descendants of the Forerunners. Which is why they don't work with humans. And they're just like, no, we gotta get rid of it because we have to put a human element to the Covenant. I'm like, no. Halo 2 managed to make you understand the Arbiter. Halo 3 made you understand. You don't need to slap a human in a story for you to be like, oh, I get it. I can sympathize. I swear, people are just getting real stupid because they're struggling to sympathize with, especially like even universal basic concepts. Oh, this character is struggling to fit in. I have to make them look and be exactly like me, otherwise I struggle to sympathize. You have an empathy problem if you can't sympathize with people who have similar problems to you because they look different. Even if they're not human. You know, a crisis of faith is something people should be able to, like, that should resonate with people. But no, the writers had to screw it up even more. Or I've seen people talk about, like, oh, it's so good to have the diversity of female Spartans. And I'm like, they've always been in there. That's not a new thing. Literally pick up the books and the games. Halo Reach, part of your squad, I think was it Kat or Kate? Her death was gnarly too. Running, she just gets sniped through the top of the head. That game though, I love Halo Reach. It was incredibly depressing because you know, like if you knew the lore, you knew everyone was gonna die. And then it's just playing through, waiting every time for someone to die. And then when it happens, it does not feel any better. Like, you sit there and you're just like, oh, I don't want to see this happen. And then it happens and you're just like, ah, shit, I knew this was going to happen. But it's stuff like that, and just like the diversity angle, it just kind of irked me, because it's people who know nothing about it being like, oh, this is a great change. And it's like, it isn't a change. And it's kind of sad when your only compliment is, hey, they have women in it. That's cool. The best way I can word this is from the Zero Punctuation video. It was a Ubisoft one. Or a Ubisoft game. Yahtzee Croshaw makes good points here, but it's not progress if you're progressing to where we already are. You know, oh, they have women in this. Cool, that was already here. That's not anything new. That's not progress. Moving on, you know. It's like there've been Spartans of every race. Nothing they can possibly touch on is going to be some new groundbreaking thing, because it's all already been done. And this show just, it feels like it shouldn't exist. And they said it's like $10 million per episode. And I'm looking at it, looking at the CG for like the elites. And I was thinking, damn, that's some ugly ass CG. How did you spend $10 million on this? And they said like 260 some script rewrites or scripts, and I'm absolutely flabbergasted by that. I'm floored, flabbergasted, smeckledorfed, stunned, bewildered, any other synonym you can come up with. I am just astounded by this. 200. How hard was it for these people to write this story? Like, that's a big thing for me. How difficult was this? Why did you need 200 plus versions to finally come up with a script to be like, yeah, this can't suck? Ah, God. I'm not even, like, worked up or heated over this. I'm just annoyed. Because we were promised Halo shows and movies for years. They kept saying, oh, we're gonna get the new Halo movie. Oh, this person's on it. Oh, we got, I don't know, I think they said J.J. Abrams at one point. After Star Wars sequel trilogy, I wouldn't let that man near any IP. I mean, he made the TIE dagger, which showed up for like one scene and didn't need to be there. You could have just used a standard TIE fighter. Oh, this one's got triangle wings. I don't care. That was a waste of time. It didn't even look cool. It's not like, oh, we made a tricked out version of the TIE Interceptor. It's just like, nah, this one sucks. You made the TIE Interceptor worse. Now it's just a flying, like, ball held up by Doritos. I'm waiting for another bad IP, or like bad movie to come out of, movie or show, probably show ever since The Mandalorian. Everybody's been on the kick of, oh, we can make a show just like that, and you really can't. Honestly, as I say it and think about it, this is gonna be a weird way of wording this. This is just the Battle Royale syndrome all over again. You know, one group figures out, hey, this thing is successful, and then instead of everybody going, oh, okay, we should make things in a similar vein, but, you know, do our own thing and try to differentiate enough to be unique, it's, we need to copy this. Originality, screw that. Originality's dumb as hell. We need to borderline rip this off, because clearly, if it worked for someone else, it'll work for us, because people are dumb, right? A thinly, like, skinned version of this will totally work in our favor, and can't go wrong. Much like Battle Royales. It's disappointing. Because you could do good stuff. I'd love to see like an ODST show. You know, Band of Brothers style, guys fighting the Covenant, just trying to survive. Once again, I remember from Halo ODST, one of your guys gets hit. I can't remember if he gets shot or stabbed or something, but like your character rushes over, grabs this big tube, looks like a squished football with a little nozzle, and he shoves it into the armor and squeezes, and it's biofoam. And it's just this moment where you're just like, oh shit, is he gonna die? And then it injects into and fills like the crack in his armor and fills like where his lung would be to keep him alive. And it's exciting. And that's one of those things where you could have this very human element of these guys afraid of dying, nearly dying in combat in a moment like that. And it's a lot more impactful than put a human in charge of the Covenant.
Take priest.
But what do I know, you know? I'm not paid the big bucks to write very low quality shows. I will say though, the Elites, the CG for the Elites is bad, but it is not like CW Supergirl CG bad. It's just disappointingly low quality. But they could have definitely done better with Halo. Once again, a game with, at this point, like 20 years of games and lore, just to be like, nah, we don't need to look at any of that. We're just gonna look at like 5 books and be done with it. Hell, if you wanted to really just cut corners but still do your research, there's a Hidden Xperia, I think. One of the Halo lore dudes. He's like the Vadi Vidya of Halo. Just sit down in the office and fire up his videos. Easiest solution. It's a lot better than just being like, yeah, we touched 3 books, got information, we don't really care past that.
Inquisitor, your chances of successfully reducing the threat level on the entire ship have been reduced to 0.67%.
That is not how you raise morale, Tech Priest.
I guess I'm expecting too much out of companies these
The
days.
destruction of the seals fractured the matrix, releasing a constant
But it's kind of sad when
onto the ship.
expecting quality is asking too
The
much.
Martyr has an 87.67% chance of turning into a demon engine,
I cannot allow a ship-sized demon engine to roam the sector.
destroying the
Like,
last
hey,
seals
can
on
you
this
make
subdeck.
do a good job on this? The best we can do is make a very feeble attempt and not really care. I think too many people just roll with that. Like, oh, it's bad, well, maybe next time. It shouldn't be a, if we give this one time and money, next time it'll be better. Especially 10 million an episode. God. I mean, if you do... If we're being real, 10 million an episode, if you do 10 episodes, an hour each, you got... No, even 6 episodes, that's 6 hours of content for $60 million. That's a lot cheaper than, you know, a lot of movies. No Avengers movie only costs, you know, $60 million. That would be a steal. That said, it, to a degree, feels like one of those you get what you pay for kind of deals. But I don't know. Honestly, my hope is that it comes out that there was behind-the-scenes drama and that's why it was bad, and it wasn't just terrible decision-making. Because I can forgive behind-the-scenes drama. That's understandable. People being dumb for the sake of being dumb, not that forgivable. I feel like it might be an instance of Suits being like, well, either Suits not caring, or it's one of those, hey, I already wrote this, I couldn't get backing, so I need to slap a brand name on it. Which is what I'm really getting the feeling of what it is. And that's really, really disappointing. Because I don't want that in the slightest. Because that just kneecaps everything, and it brings down the IP. And it's not like the person who used their terrible writing project as the template here gets really punished. A lot of times these people keep getting gigs writing god-awful scripts. And And it's like they don't... I'm not gonna say they don't deserve a job, because that's just cruel. You know, people deserve jobs. But people need to learn how to do things better. The Prophet of Decay. And that is all for now. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to hit the like button. It helps out the channel a lot. And if you haven't already, make sure to hit the subscribe button. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.